And they are three: dogs, evil workers, and false circumcision. Well, let's put our minds to the task and to the work. First of all, we need to have definition to what is meant by the dogs. Obviously, this is not spoken in its first century audience to a group of people like us who love our dogs. We pamper our dogs. We bring our dogs in on cold nights. Beware that there are some who want to come and feast off of you. They want to take you in your vulnerability and they want to devour you. They want to completely consume you. This is not that kind of dog that you're going to go home to here in a few moments and cuddle up with and let them lick you all over the face. Not this dog. Don't do it with this dog. What Paul is saying essentially is, I would rather be born outside of the house of Israel. I'd rather have never been circumcised. I'd have rather never gone to the Pharisaical schools. I'd have rather never had this zeal for God like this. I'd rather never be known as a man of righteousness, practicing of the law. I'd rather not have any of that on me if it means I can't have Christ. I count all of that a loss at this moment, and I set it all aside, and I desire for it to be off of me. I'd rather have Christ. You can have all of these markings if you want them. You can have all of these titles if you feel like you need them. But as for me, give me Christ. To say or to suggest that you're achieving the salvation of God by the works of men is blasphemous. Because this is a work that only God can do. And you're giving credit to something only God can do. To something that that man cannot achieve. That no created being could do in this fallen state. But it's in relationship of God saving us from our wretched condition and cutting off the dead of our life and removing it from us, giving us life, that we now no longer want to participate in the evil actions of the old flesh and the old nature. He's counted it and declared it dead. We should treat it as such. How foolish is that? How dangerous is that? Oh, dear listener today, may I speak to your conscience, that your conscience would hear this great and strong warning from the apostle here. May you understand what he's saying. May you hear, may God give you ears to hear the caution that is here, and may you repent of attempting and striving to do all things off of the flesh, out of the means of men. Do you hear the appeal of the workers of evil, the dogs of the false circumcision, saying that the real church would be talking about these things? Well, I think the real church ought to be talking about God's things. But dear church, do you not see, do you not understand that the purpose of the church is to equip you to live in that kind of a day? Are there not Christians in Turkey? I believe that there are. Are there not Christians in Russia? I believe that there are. Are there not Christians in America? I believe that there are. I believe you're among them. But listen, whenever we begin to speak of the secondary issues and make those the primary things, you see it won't take long where we'll be talking about third level areas and we'll be talking about fourth pet issues that we love to talk about because we can generate fellowship out of that. Well, now we're behaving like dogs, evil workers, and of the false circumcision. Would it not be better for you to know how to live godly lives in this day than to stand in a position to call anyone who lives in that country ungodly and not of God? We can build a lot of excuses and we can begin to build a lot of arguments. But oh, can I tell you, there are a lot of things happening in the global political arena that ought to be of attention to you, yes. But I think superior to that is we need as Christians to know how to live godly lives in the corruption of the day. Oh, may God help us. May you hear the warnings of Paul. Beware of those who want to declare what they want to declare holy. Holy. I say we stick with what God declares holy. And there we put it in front of us and we pursue it with all of our might. Not because in doing so we're going to achieve godliness, but because God has deposited His righteousness in my spiritually dead condition and given me spiritual life in this condition, in this estate. In this understanding, I will rejoice in the Lord. And I won't consider that too elementary for me. I won't consider that too simple. I'll consider that as worth holding on to while we walk through the ebb and the flow, the hardships and the difficulties of everything in our lives. Oh, may we heed the warnings. May the Spirit give us understanding. And oh, may He increase us with boldness.